And as I'm watching it, I mean, everything just went through my body. And I'm like, yes, I can't talk because they're in the middle of the take. I still have to be quiet, but my arms were in the air.
Yeah.
I was cheering. I was jumping up and down, and tears started streaming down my face.
That's a lot of happiness.
So beautiful.
Access more.
Life is like a roller coaster, but it's better when we go through it together. Welcome to the Candace Bure podcast. Over the last few months, Jennie Allen and I have been having deep conversations about emotional health. They've been so good. And today we get to learn about how emotions show up in our bodies. So join us. Hey, Jennie, welcome back.
Great to be here.
If someone is kind of just tuning in, maybe they just heard it on social media or it came up in their podcast, and this is the first episode that they're listening to, let's recap the season.
Okay. So we are talking about emotions, that they are good gifts from God, that they have been designed to help us navigate a crazy world. And sometimes it feels like our emotions are crazy, but they're actually trying to help us process the world that we're experiencing, to process brokenness, to process pain, to process joy, to process fear. And when you think about your emotions, I want you to think that they are likely trying to tell you something and that it's worth listening. They are not our ultimate God or our decision maker. That is with our will. We're going to still drive the train ourselves. We're not going to turn it over to our emotions, but emotions should be a part of our lives, and we should listen to them and realize sometimes they're telling us something important. Also, the greatest purpose and why God gifted us emotion, because they are gifts, all of the emotions, even the negative ones, is to connect us to Him and to connect us deeply to each other. And anyone that has had a good cry with a friend knows that happens, that nothing feels better. It's cathartic. And it actually is scientific, that it heals our brains as we come together in the difficult things of life.
So today we're going to talk about emotions and how it affects our body.
Yeah.
That it truly is physical.
Yeah. You know, there was an old heresy that believed that the body was evil and that the body was dangerous. And so this is where you get asceticism, where people would punish their bodies and stand on poles for hours and hours, days and days, just to suffer, so that they would be beating their body. And certainly the body can commit evil, but God designed our bodies, and our bodies are gifts from Him. And so what Christians sometimes have had a harder time reconciling is that our bodies, our minds, our emotions are all intertwined.
Yeah.
We tend to separate out the spiritual from the physical, and we think the physical doesn't really matter. What matters is our heart for God. And that's just not true.
It's not the complete picture.
Not the whole picture.
Yeah.
God built all of this to go together. And it really does us a disservice because we don't pay attention to our bodies, or we don't think that they're saying anything important to us. When so often I will notice that I'm stressed because I'll clench my jaw, and I will know, gosh, I'm probably under a lot of pressure, and I probably need to talk about that and think about that and take that to God and process it with God and my husband and people, friends. So sometimes I'll just know like something's wrong because my shoulders are tight, because my jaw is clenched, or because my stomach's upset. I feel nervous or worried about something. And it's not always a cognitive thought. It's not always something that I'm thinking about, which we tend to think a lot about what we're thinking about, but not what we're feeling. And so I think noticing what we feel can lead us to maybe some things that are wrong or that need attention that we may not notice if we're just thinking about our lives.
When you talked about your jaw clenching, I thought about some of the physical things that I do when I'm in my head.
Yeah.
And one of them was just pointed out to me that I didn't realize that I did by a director. I just filmed a movie a couple of months ago. And he said after we did a take on it, which means we ran through the scene. I said my lines. I acted through it. He said, let's do another one. And I go, yeah, I'd like to do another one. And he goes, I know you don't know it that well because he goes, I wasn't even watching you. He goes, I could kind of hear it. And I then immediately looked at your hands. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, I saw your hands and you clench your hands in your fingers. And he goes, that's the telltale sign that you're not comfortable with your dialogue or it's not as embedded into your brain. And I was like, wait, what? In the scene? Like I'm clutching my hands. And he goes, yeah, it's all I have to do is just look at your hands. And I was like, well,
isn't that
darn
amazing?
it. That's
right?
terrible of me. But it was funny and a good thing to learn.
know.
And now I'm like, I'm just going to always
Relax.
act with my hands in my pocket.
Right. So the director doesn't know. Yeah. And one of my friends told me that, and I don't think I've done it once since I was here, but whenever I get nervous, I itch my face. Like I just scratch it. She's like, so she'll say, are you nervous? And I'm like, that is such a weird thing that you would know that. She goes, watch every time. And it's true. It's just like it's a fidget. It's a thing.
Right.
So I mean, there's definitely, sometimes we just will miss big things. We'll miss things that we're feeling that we don't even know we're feeling. And our body knows it.
What about when it's things that you know that you're feeling, like joy? Do you feel that in a physical sense in your body?
Oh, I do. Yes. I feel it in my body. I feel, I think of the word anticipation, and it's so funny. I'll wake up lots of mornings and I'll tell Zach, I want to build a plan. And I think part of it is I love a plan. And second, I like anticipation. I like the feeling of looking forward to something, even if it's not till late that night or dinner out or we're going to watch a movie together or whatever it is. I just want something to look forward to. So when I feel it in my body, I feel like it's kind of like butterflies or giddy, would be the other word for it. Yeah. So I love that feeling. I'm always looking for it.
I do too. I was so happy a few weeks ago, again, filming a movie, but I was producing this. So I was behind the camera and I was watching this beautiful camera movement from the monitors, watching our lead actress, watching how the camera panned and the sun she was backlit and it hit the
right.
tip. It just, hit the tip of her shoulders, outlined her hair like it was glowing. And it truly was a gift from God to have this picture. And as I'm watching it, I mean, everything just went through my body and I'm like, yes, I can't talk because they're in the middle of the take. I still have to be quiet, but my arms were in the air.
Yeah.
I was cheering. I was jumping up and down and tears started streaming down my face.
That's
because
a lot of happiness.
So beautiful. And it was unexpected because I didn't think we were going to quite get that from the shot. And so joy physically went through my whole body.
Wow,
like I
fun.
couldn't stay contained.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, happy tears, like that is the best.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's so good. I just think this is how it's supposed to go. We're supposed to just feel it all. Yeah. And feeling is life. I mean, if you strip it all out, what is there? Like, you're not going to have memories. You're not going to have connections. You're not going to have stories to tell. You're not going to soak it in. You're not going to be present. So much of if you shut off your emotion, you have to not be as present in your life because there's a guard in a way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the very thing that I feel when I'm sad.
Yeah.
Or even worse, deeper into depression. But it's a removal of almost all energy from my body that I feel almost removed or depleted of everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes we feel so much emotion that we just tuck her out and we get numb. And that is, again, a defense mechanism that our brain, sometimes you see it in a friend when they've just lost a loved one and there's a little bit of denial, numbness to them, like they're coping. And I think that's a protection sometimes when so much emotion takes hold. But, there's two ways to look at this when we're talking about the body and our emotions. And one is the way we feel physically, because I think it's so important to notice. I've learned just to take inventory of my body, not to ignore it, but to, if something feels off, to notice it and to just kind of tuck it away and think about it. What is causing this? Because one of the things we're talking about in all of this is what do you do with emotions, right? What the subtitle of the book is actually naming what you feel and knowing what to do with it. So it's important that we name it, we notice it, and then we know what to do with it. And it starts though with oftentimes noticing our body and knowing what to feel. So there's that. And then there's also how do we take care of our bodies? Because so often we are in a bad place because we're just not taking care of ourselves. And so, physically speaking, when you look at the way you take care of yourself, this is fascinating. It's a little research here for you. So your hormones and your endocrine system is pumping through your body, and you can't believe how much it affects your moods. You see this most with a teenager. You see this most the wives' tale or the reality that when women are on their periods, their hormones are different and they're moodier, So I think it's important to know about your hormones, to have those tested, to have that checked out. We talked about that before. That I have known people that have tested their hormones and been shocked at how low certain things are. And they get medical attention for that and their whole mood changes. And so you don't want to just live in depression when it's a physical thing that could have been helped. So I really encourage people to make sure throughout their life, and I'm talking even 20-somethings, I have heard stories of guys that find out they have barely any testosterone at 20-something. So that don't assume you're young, just know throughout your life about that. And then, questions to ask yourself, are you moving your body every day? Because moving your body every day produces serotonin. My husband read an article in the New York Times, and it was about walking 20 minutes a day and how just 20 minutes a few times a week, it decreases depression by 30-40%, I think is what it said. So that's pretty phenomenal. I mean, after you read it, we were walkers after that. Right? He was like, okay, we are going to walk every night. And we did almost most nights. Another thing, are you sharing what is difficult with friends and family? As we've talked about, it actually heals neural pathways. I have this great little video that y'all can link to that is in the show notes. It's these neural pathways finding each other. And it's just the cutest thing in the world. There's these little hairs and they're working their way back to each other, but they actually can find each other and heal. But the way they do that is by connection, by you sharing your emotions with a friend. There is something, you think it's girls' night and you go out and you get queso and you are having a fun night and you're sharing everything. There's actually something really healing in that, especially if you move to an emotional level and just not to a circumstantial level. Another one is how much alcohol are you drinking? Because it actually depletes dopamine. So if you're drinking a lot, you're numbing out, but you're also in coping, which again, not a big against alcohol, but the abuse of it can really deplete your dopamine. So it's more just inventory, knowing your body, knowing why you might feel sad. And so I had this doctor friend when I was, when I needed medicine for anxiety, and she went to our church and I went to see her. And she just walked every patient through this little list. And if she knew you were a Christian, she would add to it, are you spending time with God? So she would start with, are you exercising? Are you in community? Are you sharing life with people? Are you eating well? Are you drinking too much? She would just go through before she put someone on medicine, just because she knew these things can really physically help you. They could be enough.
You go to.
So again, not against medicine. It has blessed our family's life and I'm really grateful for it. I really am, but I don't think we jump to it till we're sure we're taking care of ourselves.
Yeah. Those are great points. I very much relate to the physical.
Yeah.
Talked about that a lot on the podcast and how much the physical exercise and movement in my body affects my brain, affects my mood, and just affects my overall health. And even with this week, because my travel schedule has been a whole lot and my days are long and I have to conserve my energy depending on what my on-camera days are like, because it's a lot of output for me. So on camera days, I could do a little stretching type of exercise and movement or a walk, but I can't do a workout in the gym because I can't balance. I won't have enough energy for my day.
Yeah.
However, my schedule has been so crazy. I haven't worked out it's probably, I think, day 6 right now.
Yeah.
And I feel it.
Me too.
So I feel it by day 4 because my body's accustomed to it. And it doesn't have to be rigorous, but I need, just like you said, even that 20-minute walk. And I haven't had enough of that. And I've been sitting in a lot of chairs and standing around on sets a lot.
Yeah.
But it really adds up. And I notice a difference in my overall well-being and my mood and within my emotions.
Yeah.
But it completely changes. And that's why I'm such an advocate for movement. Even if you don't want to be like the hustler in the gym, like that's fine.
Right.
And even depending on your age, whatever, you just need to move, but it can change everything about you.
So I was exhausted, burnout, and I take a break. This is summer of 2022. I just go off the grid for 3 months. And it was the first time I'd ever done that with work. And there's a lot of things when you have teams that work for you, and like, there's just a lot of planning that goes into that. It was really a lot to take off. But I was pretty committed to it. That gave them some time off too. And in that time, I didn't want to overplan it, but I did decide I'm not super well. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's spiritual. I don't know if it's physical. I don't know if it's all of it. And I'm not going to feel stressed to like attack it all, but I am just going to make a few appointments, right? I'm going to see my counselor. I'm going to call a functional medicine doctor. I'm just going to get my checkups. I'm just going to kind of check in.
Yep.
So I make an appointment with this functional medicine doctor, and I pretty much, it felt like I didn't want to get out of bed a lot of mornings. And it was about 11 a.m. before I really felt like myself every morning. And so he takes my blood work and he says, so he looks at it for 1 minute and he says, so you're hypoglycemic. And I was like, I was like, I haven't heard that word since I was in high school. I remember I fainted one time and they said my blood sugar was low and that I might be hypoglycemic, but I'm 40 something now. And I'm like, I haven't thought about that. And they're like, oh, I can tell you right now you are, which means that if I didn't get out of bed and eat breakfast, I was literally, so why 11 o'clock was when I would eat some protein and a real meal. It's not that I wouldn't eat anything before that, but it would be like, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And so physically, I was feeling bad for hours every day, having a hard time getting out of bed. It was such an easy fix. It's like, I just have to get out of bed and eat protein immediately.
We just talked about this last season when Mel and Mel were on, because I was not a breakfast eater. I'm not hypoglycemic.
Yeah.
However, it's changed my life to eat breakfast in the mornings, because then I'm not like ravaging the food either at lunchtime. And I don't have a dip in my blood sugar before I come back up at lunchtime. So that was a new thing that I incorporated a couple of years ago, that I started eating breakfast, even though I thought like, well, I'm not really that hungry. I don't need to eat breakfast. And yet it has affected the physical and the emotional just simply by having breakfast in the morning.
Right. And one thing I love, and I know a lot of people listening are going, okay, body, what about God, that kind of thing. I'm like, look at Jesus. Like, he was the best at taking care of physical needs. Like, he didn't ignore those. It wasn't just, let me save your soul or heal your heart. It was also, let me feed you. Like, let me heal you. Let me help you in your body and what you're feeling and experiencing. And I just think sometimes we disregard, especially as women, I think we just get busy and we have a lot of people that need us and a lot of things. And it's really hard to prioritize it in a way that feels healthy. Yeah.
And I hear that a lot because I love sharing the fitness aspect of my life, because I genuinely enjoy it and I like to encourage people in that area. But I hear it a lot that it's like, well, if it's not, how are you really glorifying God by working out? And I'm like, because I'm taking care of my body.
Yes.
So I always get a little disheartened sometimes by the greater church folk.
Right.
Not all of them.
So again, that's why I started with that, kind of where that comes from.
Yeah.
The body is not evil. It is a good gift. He knit us together in our mother's womb, our body, our heart, our mind, everything. It's all there. And he did that, so Yeah, it is. And he calls it a temple. Like we are the temple for the Holy Spirit. And that's important.
It's so important.
And so I think we want to make a difference. And it was so great. Like after that functional medicine, it wasn't just that. He also noticed I have barely any vitamin D and barely any iron and big important things your body needs. So he, figures out like, hey, try these things and eat like this and do this differently. I felt like a completely different human. And right now I'm in the middle of If Gathering, launching this new movement called Gather. I'm writing a new project. I'm launching, I'm doing all this. I feel great. So it matters. Like I can't do what God's put me on earth to do and is equipping me to do spiritually and emotionally if my body is holding me back and I don't want to get out of bed.
Right.
So it matters.
It's such a good connection.
Such a spiritual thing.
It really matters. And what about beyond taking care of our physical bodies, making sure we're sleeping enough, not drinking excessive alcohol?
Yeah.
What are some other practices that you do with your emotions? I mean, maybe in a physical way.
So, for me, I learned that my body does better with several things. One thing is a lower impact workout. So, my husband loves a boot camp. And so he would drag me and it never felt right. And I always felt like it was too much for me.
Yeah.
And then I started doing Pilates and it was just right. And so I think you just have to figure out like and it's so funny because my doctor even said, you really need to not do high impact. You burn through too many calories and you feel bad afterwards. And I was like, yes,
we talked a lot as well. Mel and Mel.
Everybody's body's different.
Low impact. And
and
Kara Stokes has like amazing low impact workouts as well.
Sleep is so crucial.
Yeah.
And that is a hard thing to get. It's a hard thing for me to get. I wake up a lot at night. But I notice when I eat right and when I don't drink, I sleep better. So just that. And then what else are we forgetting? Let's see.
I know. I keep trying to buzz through.
A huge one. Screen time. Oh gosh.
Oh, screen time. I have a lot of trouble with this one.
Yes, me too.
I want to say I'm working on it, but I don't think I'm working on it very well. I need
a hard thing to work
discipline in this area in my life.
So I have a friend Andy Crouch, who wrote a book about tech-wise parenting and that type of thing. And it's so helpful. And he says something great. He says, take a week off. You know it?
I know
Have you interviewed him?
Because there's another pastor that I follow and he does it every month. He takes a day off
an hour a day, a day a month, and a week a year.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I think that's what it is.
An hour a day, which we need more than an hour a day, but an hour a day where you really put your phone away, like it's far away.
I think the friend that I follow, I think he does an hour a day, 1 day a week, and 1 week a month.
Ooh, I like that. If it could be that much.
So he tightens it up a lot.
So in my times off, so I take off every July from socials and I just get off my phone and get off everything. And it's amazing. The world still goes on. Every time I come back, I'm like, did you miss me? Nope, nobody did.
No.
So
I take my break at Christmas time.
Right.
Christmas through New Year's.
Yes, to be there present. And so, it's always fine. And the world keeps spinning. And I actually feel like it's hard for me to go back at the end of July because I'm so rested and just have found joy in lots of other things. And it always is, I do it for work, but I reluctantly get on.
I know. I do it for work.
Healing.
But I really do enjoy it and I like it. I love connecting with people. And that's a form of connection. We talked about that in other episodes as growing emotional health. And truly, like, there's a whole community online and I might not see your face.
Right.
Because I'm talking to my screen, but you guys are commenting back, like we are interacting. And I really enjoy that connection so very much, except if you're mean.
Right. They're there. I do too. And there is a community there. And I think I feel that way too. I do miss the people and the connection to that.
Yeah. But if you put limits on your screen time before bed, I know that is one of the most important things. And I struggle with that. Yeah. I really do.
Yeah. So any blue light right before you go to bed, they say an hour before you go to bed to put away your phone and not to get on it. But sometimes that is when I have time to get on my phone. So I know the times, one thing I did a while back is I put my phone station where I charge our phones in a different room. Now, everybody's about to lose their mind about this because they're like, what if your kid calls? My husband had his watch beside the phone, but we put our phones outside of our bedroom. And if somebody called or texted, he would hear it on his watch. But beside my bed, I had to buy an alarm clock.
Yeah.
Like an old school alarm clock. Yeah. It was great. And that's how I woke up. So you can do it. You kind of have to.
You can
work at it to actually set it all up. But it is.
I do have an alarm clock, but we just put ours on airplane mode. I don't know. I think that's better.
Yeah.
I don't know how great it is, but my husband actually turns his completely off.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for all my kids to grow up and be out of the house. And I think I will take way more time away from my whole phone, when I'm still responsible for them. So I can't, the nurse texted me today and I had airplane mode on and whoops. But you still have to be available. It is harder as a parent.
Yeah.
So why don't we do a little experience? Because I think some people need help noticing their bodies. And so wherever you are, unless you're driving, I want you to close your eyes and honestly push pause here if you are driving, and then come back to this when you can stop and be still. Mm-hmm. And I want you to put your feet on the floor, both feet on the floor.
Okay.
And I want you to close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. And I don't want you to open your eyes. I want you to think about your body, and I want you to start down at your toes, and I want you just to notice what you feel. Do you have pain anywhere? Are you uncomfortable? What do you feel? And just move your way up your body. Is your stomach growling? Is your chest tight? Is your jaw,
Go ahead.
You're going to tell me.
No, it's like my shoulders are so rolled forward and my neck is so tight.
Right, I know. And I want you, many of you relate to Candace right now, and your neck feels tight and your jaw feels clenched and your shoulders feel tight. And I just want you to relax everything in your body.
Remember to breathe. Sorry, I just forgot.
I love how awkward this is, by the way.
What?
I love how awkward this is. Wherever you are, you're like, this is awkward.
Especially if you're listening on
I
the
know,
podcast.
But I think it's so good. And I think we don't ever do this. So we're going to do it. And we're going to push through the awkward, and you're going to breathe. And some of you have not stopped and breathed, just focused on your breath in a long time. So I want you just for a minute to focus on your breath, to notice it. And just like Candace, you probably have noticed something about your body that you haven't thought about all day. Maybe your tongue is dry. Maybe you're thirsty. Maybe your eyes are squinted and you have a headache. Whatever you notice. And then I want you to think about and connect that to what you might be worried about, or what you might feel afraid of, or what you might be angry about. Why are your shoulders rolled forward? Why are you worried? What is it tied to?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking everybody.
Okay.
But you can say, because I think it helps people. Why are you worried?
I'm not worried.
What do you feel?
Honestly, I just want to go exercise. Now that I'm feeling my entire body, I want to get in the gym and move.
Yeah. And I would say that's probably what your body needs. And for some of you listening, you just almost fell asleep. And that's probably what your body needs.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we miss out if we never listen to what we need. Mm-hmm. And this is not selfish. This is actually a healthy theology of the body. Because when you believe that you're finite and you're not God, because that's our problem. We all think we're God. We think we could take on the whole wide world and be tough and not be weak and win and do it all and meet everybody's needs. And that's not a healthy theology. We are finite creatures. We have limits. We have capacities. We need rest. We need play. We need sunshine and vitamins and our bodies to move. And all of that is God placed in us. It's the way he designed us. And part of the beautiful thing of the theology of finiteness, I mean, in large part, we think of it as negative, that we're limited. But the beautiful part of it is we need God. The beautiful thing is our limits reveal how awesome God is, that he has no limits, that he's infinite, that he has none. He has no limits. And we do. And it just humbles us.
Yeah.
Even the greatest. It's like people are just people are people. Famous people, not famous people. People who live in other countries, people who live down the street. Like everybody's just people.
Yeah.
And we need the same basic things. And God built us that way. And something about that is really simple and beautiful if we aren't afraid of it and we receive it.
Yeah. So to wrap this up a little bit, we want to encourage you to take notice of your body, your physical body, as to how it feels, because it can greatly affect your emotions and then how that comes out, how you're talking to people, how you're treating people, what your reactions are towards people. Yeah.
Yeah. Be careful not to give yourself an unnecessary diagnosis.
Yeah.
It could be emotional and it could be physical. So rule out the physical first.
Great. Okay. Well, we're going to go to our listener question.
Yep.
And again, we collect these all year long at Candace.com. And we're going to combine a couple of questions today because we actually get so many questions here, which thank you so much for writing in. I absolutely love it.
We've talked about it off here. She absolutely loves it.
I do.
She loves reading your questions.
I do.
It means
I really
the world
do.
to her.
But a lot of them are very similar. They're just worded in different ways. So I'm going to read 3 different questions that are all very, very similar and come down to the same desire to know, to have an opinion on this. So Jada would like to know, how do you do all of this every day? I struggle with fitting it all in: diet, exercise, self-care, Bible reading. It seems like a lot. And Alicia wrote in and says, how do you manage your time and energy to achieve family and spiritual and professional goals? And then Brea wrote in and said, how do you balance taking care of yourself without letting the effort become an idol?
Ooh, I want to hear your answer on this.
Such great questions.
I can't wait to hear your answer on this.
And they're really all about balance.
Yeah.
And I think we all have to remember that everyone's situation and what their daily routine looks like it's all different. And so we have different amounts of activity throughout our day and pressures throughout our day. So those can change our answers a lot. And you might look at someone and say, Jennie, how are you running a global worldwide effort? You're managing all these people under your company. You are speaking to as a leader and to leaders throughout the world. Like, how do you manage the stress of that? How do you balance that with your 4 children and your husband? And so you might look at someone, I might look at you and go like, what magic do you have going on? I could never do that. All I'm doing is, and then you compare and it's like, no. Like,
yeah, I think I might've been more stressed with toddlers as a stay-at-home mom. So all of you out there that are like, I can't seem to get dressed and you're looking at us. I think you need to know, there's 2 makeup people and 2 hair people out here. Like there's help, like I'm at a place in life where I depend on a team. Like there's a lot of people that are really helping run things and make sure they go. So I think sometimes we can like enjoy that we look like we're doing it all and we're doing it so well and we're doing it all by ourselves. I'm like, no, we aren't. Somebody is helping me clean my house right now. Yes, they are. I clean my own toilets for a long, long time. But right now somebody else is helping me with that because they wouldn't be clean. Like, so there is a limit. We all have that. And so I think it's important for us to be honest about that and that we do have help. And so if you're sitting there going, well, I don't get any help, so how am I going to do this by myself? I would just say, one, have a lot of grace on yourself. And two, what can you do? And what's life-giving? What feels right? Again, for us in hard times, it is just a 20-minute walk. I mean, we're not hiring a trainer and we're not getting in the best shape of our lives. We just are moving our bodies so that we sleep better, so that, we don't get in a funk. So it's kind of just start somewhere. Like just do one thing, do something small. Don't try to do everything all at once.
Yeah. I wrote a book a long time ago called Balancing It All. And I talked about this very thing in that. I think we can do it all, just not at the same time.
That's right.
So remember that there are seasons in life. And if you have little toddlers at home, I always say, why are you stressing about getting in the gym?
Yep.
Don't go to the gym. Just take your child out go to the playground.
Go for a walk,
put them in a stroller. Like, let that be your exercise. Take the pressure off yourself. Yeah. There will be a season
Unless the gym has great childcare and you get a little break.
Yeah, there you go.
I had one gym like that and it was kind of awesome.
I did too. I loved it. Yeah. But you don't have to do that in this season of life. You can.
Right. Sometimes just getting in the car to go anywhere is a huge job.
Yeah. And just like I talked about earlier, when I know I have heavy days on camera, I am not going to the gym.
Yeah.
So my day will switch from day to day. So how do I fit in Bible time, exercise, family, professional life? Well, because I'm not in a day-to-day routine, which I think is easier to manage if you have a day-to-day routine. But you prioritize the things that are most important to you first.
That's right.
And, I've used this analogy over and over, but there's the analogy of a glass jar and a person put in a bunch of big rocks in it first and filled it up to the top and then asked the students, it was a teacher, said, is this jar full? They all said yes. But then he put in some smaller pebbles in it. And they kind of filled in. And he said, is this jar full now? And they said, yes. But then he put sand in it. And then it really filled the cracks and came up to the top. And he said, is the jar full? And they said, yes. But then he poured water in it. There was still another thing that could go in the jar, right?
Yeah.
And he said, so the jar actually wasn't full all those times. So how was I able to add more? Why wasn't it really full? He said the secret is the order in which it goes in.
The big things first.
So you have to prioritize the big things first in life, because if you put the water in first, that water would overflow with the first stone you put in.
Right.
So when we think about that, like, what are my big priorities in life? My time with God is a priority. I'm going to make time for that. My fitness is a priority, but I understand that there's a flexibility to it. But I know that I need to get
within a week.
Within a week. I have my 7 days. And if I can get 3 days in, I'm good. If I get more, great, bonus. And so on with my family, with children. But it can shift from day to day. You don't have to do everything every day. So take the pressure off and prioritize the big things. And remember that all the other things will come alongside it.
Yeah. And be careful that you're not just trying to meet everybody else's needs. Like, that is a real issue. And I've used to feel that. And I think it's not that we don't meet anyone's needs, but you really need to decide, like, I am okay disappointing people. I will disappoint people, and I'm okay disappointing people.
Yeah, that's good.
And then decide who you don't want to disappoint. And those are the people you always show up for.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's so good. This is another good episode. Thank you, Jennie.
Love it.
Life is so much better when we go through it together. And Jennie and I have something for you. It's a simple 1-page guide to emotional health called the Unwind Guide. And you can get that for free at Candace.com. And we're also putting it in the show notes. All right, guys, until next time, be grateful all day, every day. Every time I sit down and get to talk with someone like Jennie, I'm reminded of how unique we each are. Click the like button if our stories encouraged you today. Candy Rock Entertainment, all rights reserved.